Hello and welcome back to the How the Hell Did You Get Here podcast, where the secret to success is revealed and promoted. My name is Joe Soja, and I am your host. We have an incredible show for you today, and I indeed found a man willing to share some of his stories on how he became successful, or may not have become successful, depending on how he interprets it. His name is Bubba Barragan. He's my best friend from San Diego. Fantastic, man. He'll be joining us shortly. One thing that I wanted to just bring up, I have a lot of I want to bring up a lot of stories on how people became successful in life, right? And so I did do a little bit of research, and let me pull it up here, if I can find it. Okay, so I think I may have discussed this in my first podcast, but one of my favorite guys, and ever since he was on Shallow Hal, Tony Robbins, he is the man. I think that man is such a good guy, and apparently he didn't come from wealth or anything like that. He got to where he is today just by being him. So I'm actually gonna read this article, and it is from The Insider, and it was written by Richard Filoni, edited by Libby Kane, in October of 2017. So the first things that it says is Tony Robbins grew up poor with a troubled childhood. Well, that's fantastic. I already like him. At age 17, he spent a week's pay, which was only $40 that week, by the way. And he was a janitor, and he spent it on a Jim Rohn seminar. And then Rohn helped Robbins develop a coaching style that made him famous by his mid-20s. So in just a few years, this man was a broke janitor, and then all of a sudden he became the man I don't know if he was the man that he is today in his 20s, but man, I've seen some of his videos. Very smart man. I saw one of his seminars about Unleash the Power Within, and he talks about how he just read psychology books, read a bunch of stuff, and I don't even think he went to college. He just started knowing things, and all of a sudden I get inspired by him. Well, in any case, I'm going to read a little bit more. Tony Robbins is the world's premier performance coach, a job that entails selling out stadiums with life coaching seminars. So that's basically how he is. At 17, Robbins worked as a janitor after school and helped people move on the weekends to make money to help out his family. He told us that on one of these moves, he was taking a break when he asked the landlord on site, who was a family friend, "My dad said you used to be such a loser, and how come you're so successful now?" "Only a kid can say that stuff," Robbins said with a laugh. And the guy looks at me and goes, "Your dad said what?" And the man told him that he started to turn his life around after going to a Jim Rohn seminar, which he described as a man takes everything he's learned in 20, 30 years of his life and he pours it into like 4 hours. It goes on here. When Robbins met Rohn, he had been giving these personal development speeches to executives and employees at Standard Oil. Robbins found Rohn approaching captivating, and it captured what he was trying to get life at that point in his life. So basically, Tony just decided to become a successful man. It's all a decision. It's all about perspective and an outlook on life. And that's something that I've been trying to embrace within my own life, because I'll tell you, I can get down in the dumps real quick. In fact, this morning, and we'll do this real quick and then we'll go to Bubba, but this morning there was the mainline water on our street broke right in front of my house. So my entire lawn is being destroyed right now by city workers. And on top of that, what really pissed me off, and I forgive him because he's my son. My son plugged up the sink downstairs and decided to turn on the water. And this is the same exact day that my mainline water broke right in front of my house. And so I thought it was from the mainline water broke. Nope, it's just Joey starting shit, right? And so, anyway, that was my morning. But now I'm here trying to bring happiness and inspiration into your lives. And the way I'm going to do that today is by bringing on my best friend from San Diego, Bubba Tony Barragan. And so here he is. How you doing, Bubba? Trying to get him done. There he is. Sorry. Okay, yep, there he is. You sound great, and you look great, too. It's a good thing that other people can't see you, though.
Yeah, I'm glad because I don't think that I look very great. But great to be here. Thank you for having me. I remember you called me a little earlier and told me about the main line. Oh, man, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was. I've been angry. I was angry. I made a decision to not be angry anymore about a half hour ago when I said I have to do this podcast. So, and I'm telling you, it's just a decision. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
that's a really good way to put it, though. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bubba. Yeah. Anyway, so Bubba, thank you so much for joining me. So today, what I want to do is find out how you became successful. And in my eyes, you are a successful man. So I'd like to ask you. I think my first question to you is: how do you define success?
Well, I think it depends on who you ask. But like, if you ask me, success, I would say one, you're like as simple as being pretty much a productive member of society. Like in a rough sense, as in you're not out there, you're trying to do stuff the honest way. You're not trying to hustle like in a negative way. Hustle is good, just not necessarily hustling people or something like that. Along those lines, and then just always striving for better. And like just being like rich with love and friendship, I would say. Like it's not necessarily a dollar amount or anything like that. Like you see all these people on YouTube and stuff like that, and I guess you could say like they seem like don't get me wrong, they are successful. They definitely are, but just that doesn't mean that you have to compare your level of success to those people. Even if you want to reach that, though. Like you can totally want to reach that, and that's what you might even want to be one day. And that's totally fine. But you don't have to. That doesn't mean you're not successful until you're to that point. Every day could be successful for you.
I agree.
Day could be successful for you.
And so what I'm seeing you say is that maybe success is a journey and not really a destination. Would you put it like that?
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to put it. I don't think success should ever be. I don't think you should ever be like, yes, I'm done with my success.
Man,
like I think that you should always try and be more successful and more successful. Whether that just means even being more successful of a family man or being more successful of an employee or your own venture or something like that. Or if you want to be famous, then you can like. There's some people that like, okay, cool, I made. Like actors, I made it into a movie. I'm an actor now. And there's some people that start out in small stuff, and they're like, no, I want to be the actor. Like like George Clooney back in the day and stuff like that. Yeah. Where all of a sudden they're just the only ones in it. That's like just keep on striving for more.
Yeah. So that actually leads me to my next question. So do you actually consider yourself successful?
I mean, I would say that I'm not unsuccessful. But I don't want to contradict what I just said, but I'm still not to the level of success that I want. You know, I want to reach more. I want to reach more. But I would say that, and a modest standpoint, I think I'm successful. I've got, for the most part, happy, healthy family. and we get to do stuff. Like me and my wife both have jobs, but we work really hard. Well, I mean, success. We're still. I mean, we're in California, so we're paycheck to paycheck. Even though we both have really good jobs. I mean, we save like maybe a tiny bit of money, but I still see it as successful because we have a home, we have a family, we our kids play sports, and I'm always striving for more. I just got even a new job where I now I'm just always trying to strive for better. I put myself into a better position, and hopefully I have even more and more room to grow as well, just within the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah,
Plus,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
So where do you
So
where do you see yourself being successful? Like, where is that?
um, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Sorry, that wasn't one of the questions I gave you.
No, it's
Like,
fine.
damn it, you're going off the script, Joe.
No, not even that. I just don't necessarily. Where do I see? So like I said, being a productive member of society. I don't. I go to work every day. I almost never call out for sick if I can help it, unless like I'm so sick that I'm gonna get everyone else completely sick, and then it's gonna cause a detriment to the company. You know. But
Yeah.
like most of the stuff, I'll ride through if I can. If it's not something like that, like. But I do like hard labor work. So like my back hurts. Oh well, I man through it. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm getting off tangent.
No, you're doing great, buddy.
I being like as far as I would say I'm successful as in I get to have a lot of family time as well.
And that's
And
important. It really is, you know?
yeah, I mean, I always want to. I'm always trying to think of other stuff to do as well as little side hustles and stuff like that. I always thought like, oh, vending machines or doing this
Yeah.
or like we have eggs selling our eggs because we have chickens, and so we just have eggs. I'm like, oh, maybe I could teach the kids how to like start saving for their money, or like for chores and stuff like that. Like I want to train them the same way as well.
Yeah. So what made you choose the path that you have taken? Like, so you own a home, you're married with kids, you're a plumber, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what made you choose that path? And do you feel like you didn't choose that path, rather it was chosen for you, or it's just how the cards laid? Cards were laid.
Well, it's kind of funny. So to bring it back to like why I chose this path at all, just to even get to into a trade at all, or try and find something that to be good at, or even just being married or anything. I was going down a path. I could have gone down a path of like drugs and lots of just abusement of my own body and stuff like that. Lots of partying, because I was doing that, but I was lucky that I stopped when I was young. Well, somewhat young, like 22 years old. I stopped for 3 years. I stopped everything. And then don't get me wrong, now I have my occasional drinks and stuff like that, but I'm nowhere near like a party animal. But it's cool because I got to stop and develop and in a sense begin my my journey to success. Which, like I said, I'm still not even there yet to where I want to be, but compared to where I was, I'm definitely successful compared to where I was now. So yeah, I decided to, okay, my one thing was my mom was a very young parent, and I always
Yeah.
wanted to be a young parent. So I was like, one, I need to get my crap together.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And number two, I need to find a person that I really can connect with and be like on the same wavelength, almost best friend, which I do believe I found that. And it's lucky I wasn't even necessarily searching. Like she talked to me first. Like,
Oh
and all of a sudden
damn! That doesn't happen too
yeah,
often.
yeah. So it's crazy. And yeah, so and I almost didn't even believe it. So I was like, ah, yeah, I don't think that you're even a real person. So we met on a dating app, and I was like, yeah, she's a robot. So I kind of
Yeah.
like, and like messed around, like teasing, like not really giving the nice, like I wasn't like hitting on her or anything like that.
Yeah.
Remember, I was just like blunt with a lot of stuff that I said, and then
Yeah.
somehow she just kept on talking back to me, and all of a sudden, it was a couple weeks, and then out of nowhere, we went on our first date, and the rest was history with us. I was like, yep, this is the one.
Fantastic. And
then as far as a trade, I knew that I needed to make something. So I chose the trade. I'm like, okay, what trades are most needed? Electrical and plumbing, I would think, are like the most important trades.
Everyone needs that stuff.
Just at face value. Just at face value. Everyone's gonna have a plumbing emergency. I'm scared as hell of electricity if something weird's going on. I don't even like turning on and off the breakers, even though I know how to do it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to choose one. And I ended up applying to a bunch of jobs, and this plumbing company was like, hey, yeah, we'll train you exactly how you want to be. And I was like, okay. Started there about 7 years ago, and been with a couple companies now because that one ended up going under. But really, I grew a lot in just that company, and now I'm just starting to go into another. Now I'm going into new construction. And
so you're saying that you're saying that you didn't have to spend $100,000 and go in debt in order to get a good job? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly.
Holy cow! I've been lied to my entire life. I thought I had to go into debt first. Oh my gosh!
See, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that's the wrong way, but that's definitely not everyone's way. And,
right.
If I did go that way, don't get me wrong, I'd be in more debt than what I am now, but it may have helped me even more, even if I still only ended up being in a trade. You know,
right.
It could have helped me, but then again, you could have gone in the military, which could have helped you.
That's true.
Almost like how I stopped drinking and stuff like that. Like, it was just a whole drastic change in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
So what sorts of struggles have you gone through in order to get to where you are today?
Struggles. I mean, I told you, like, making the decision to stop drinking and doing extracurricular drugs and stuff like that. Let's see. Like, good life choices?
Well, no, I mean, like, have you ever gone to jail? Have you ever struggled with any sort of substance? Tell me about that jail time. I mean, I'm sure it's it's a long story, but give me the gist of things.
I did a 35-year stint, and no, I'm just kidding. I'm only, no. I was young, and the first time that I went to jail, I thought that it would be a good idea to do a beer run right around the corner from the police station, right outside of my neighborhood, because I'm not a very good criminal. I found out.
You're not.
This is
you don't look it.
This is pretty much what showed me that. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to this 7-Eleven, and it's right around the corner from the police station. But the police will be out on patrol. They wouldn't be at the police station, so this is the best spot. Why would the police be there?
Yeah, the police are never at the police station. They're just everywhere else.
they should be out patrolling, right? That's where they go and get their vehicles. And
how dare they be at the police station?
Yeah, not how dare they. It's just, that was my dumb thinking. Like, no, they should be.
Oh man, they were just eating donuts at the police station. Those sons of bitches, you know.
Yeah, well, there is a donut shop right around the corner from that too, as well. So I go in there, grab 2 18-packs, and I just run out. And all of a sudden, there's a cop pulling in, and I just run past the cop. I'm like, okay, I'm screwed. And the cop's like, beer run to the guy, and he's like, beer run. So he started chasing me, and I ran away from the cops, and I got away from him in a sense. But I live right next to a airport, and it happens to be the same airport that all the police helicopters in San Diego come out of. That's just where they store them. So he was coming back from something, and he was getting ready to land. And they're like, "Oh, we got someone on the run in the canyon right next to the airport." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll get him." And I knew that, like, they had like infrared and stuff like that. I'm like, they could see me in the dark. Like, they don't even need lights; they could see me. Just run. If they see a human running in the middle of a canyon by himself, they're like, "I think we have him." So I was like, "Okay." So I gave up.
I can't believe they sent the helicopter on you, first of all. Sorry, keep going.
He was going back to land. They told me, they're like, yeah, he was just going back to land. He's like, he had the worst luck ever. Anyways.
They called it luck.
Yeah. Worst luck, yeah. And then so I gave myself up and then went to jail. That was, my grandma bailed me out on that one. I told her, I'm like, no.
She's such a sweet lady.
In here. Yeah, I know. And then the second time I went to jail, I got cocaine possession. I had some in my socks, and I got.
That's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, pulled over on my bike without a light, and the cop's like, "I smell alcohol on your breath." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm going to give you a DUI unless you let me search you." And I was like, "Okay, I guess search me." So he searched me, and then he found the cocaine, and then so I went to jail for a week for that one because my grandma said she was not going to bail me out, even though on that one I begged her to bail me out. But I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
That's awesome.
No, I wasn't a full week. I think I was only like 4 or 5 days or something like that. I went on the day where you had to wait like the longest possible time to see a court date,
So
just for the next week. Yeah, I think it was, or no, I think it was. I think Thursdays randomly.
Thursday.
Because if you get in on Thursday, you're not processed enough for Friday. Saturday, I don't know, something weird. I don't remember.
Well, like you're a professional at this, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, went in, and after that, I decided, okay, I need to stop. Because I'm a horrible criminal, and I also don't want to go down this path. So pretty much right around then, that was 19 years old. I went through so much stuff to get my record expunged from that point forward. That's when I first went to NA. It was when I was 19. I didn't actually get like clean until 22. But yeah, that was my decision for that.
Yeah. Very good. So you're saying that you made a decision to become a better man, and you sought help. You sought help from Narcotics Anonymous. You saw that people knew how to stay clean and sober, and you went to that source, and you basically, I mean, you got clean that time, right? And then, now you're married. I'm just saying that. It's amazing how you can come from so low, and yet now you are a productive member of society, a successful man, a father. I mean, all these things, and you overcame that jail time. That I'm just really impressed. So
yeah, and like don't get me wrong, they were in a sense bad decisions, but I'm not upset with anything that I've ever done in my life. It's part of my story. And I think that also helps me, one, feel more successful, because I try to be humble in a sense. That's why I don't want to say like, oh yeah, I'm such a success or anything like that. That's why I often don't feel that I am really that successful. I'm like modest about it. I also don't try to compare my level of success to anyone else. As long as like I feel successful within, and I think that me and my wife, don't get me wrong, we drive each other crazy all the time, but we have such a good bond and such a good dynamic together, and such a fun family life.
Yes,
that, like that alone right there, without what we make or what we bring to the table, that right there makes us feel successful. We have so much fun with our kids, other than me just yelling at them to leave me alone for 15 minutes. We've actually been having a really good weekend. Just this weekend, the wife went out of town, and last night I was like, you know what? Why don't we set up a tent in the backyard, and we had a campfire and roasted marshmallows, and we slept outside.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like that, just that stuff. Just random.
Rich in love.
Easy little things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff helps me feel like an internal success.
Right. So through all these struggles, and I'm sure you've had even more struggles after getting clean. I mean, you have your occasional drinks now, and so after you got clean and you're doing well now, tell me about sometimes when you feel like giving up, right? Because there's even successful people have these moments, and I mean, I have a lot of them, of where I just don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like going for a run. I don't feel like going to work. I don't feel like being a good father. I just want to be left alone. Tell me about those times when you feel like giving up?
So I'll tell you what. You feel those times more often than you would think. Just like anyone, sometimes it runs across your mind every single day. But the way that I've been, I'm still not the best at it, but the way I try to train myself is when I tell myself I don't want to do something, or I want to stop doing something, that's almost when I need to push to do it more. Like just like even my little chores around the house, like I said, we have pretty much a farm here, so I have to milk the goat every day. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I have a half an hour right now, but I really don't want to do it. I could do it in 2 hours. I'm like, no, I have the time. I need to do it right now. just that little bit of push, that's successful. That's knocking a thing off your list that you got to do off the day. And then it's just I try not to get too down when I feel like that because like I said, sometimes I don't feel like I'm that successful and it knocks myself down. I get in my own head.
Yeah.
Which that's what I need to jar myself. And I've been doing a lot better in general at that, but I always still try and find myself. Yeah. I always find myself getting better in that scenario.
No,
That's pretty much it.
That's fantastic. So that I guess that answers my question about what makes you change your mind about giving up, right? Unless you you have
Yeah, you got
how do you how do you get out of that mindset though? Like, what do you do? Do you is it a? I mean, some people pray, some people like walk somewhere. They I don't know. How do you do it?
Well, here's a funny thing. I I try to compare myself to like a cowboy, I guess, with everything I do.
Well, you look like a cowboy.
I don't mean like that. I just mean like their work ethic. They like, for instance, I thought this way before the show, but Yellowstone is a very good way to put it. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Those guys just work very hard on a ranch all day long, and it goes without thanks. And it's really hard work that needs to get done, and there's tons of work to do, and it's never done.
Yeah.
So I just think like I'm like, man, I need to step it up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, a cowboy wouldn't be sitting here on the couch at 2:00 to do it. Like, that's a funny way of putting it, but really, like, it's. I really try to really get myself out of it. It's all about changing my mindset mostly.
Yes.
It's really just like, okay, this is how I feel, and this isn't how I do want to feel. So I need to change that and do it. And like, it's just like with working out. I'm not huge on working out, but I find that like sometimes when I work out more, it tends to make me feel better. And even though you would think that you work out and you're more strenuous, you would think you'd be more tired, but it actually makes me have more energy. It's weird how like when you feed the fire of everything and just like doing something in the positive realm versus just sitting there and binge watching TV, which don't get me wrong, I still do once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. I guess that's how I do it. I just try and change my mindset. I don't know how I do it. I just
you just know it has to get done.
I just kick myself in the butt and say, "Do it! You got to
do it." Yeah, it has to get done. Yeah, no, I hear you.
I understand. Slap myself around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's awesome. So, hearing that you're a man that gets up and does things every single day. Do you have like a specific morning routine that gets you in that mindset to continue on? And if so, what is that morning routine?
I wake up on weekdays. I wake up at 4:15 every morning, and I have the coffee set, and I get a cup of coffee, and I sit there and watch the news, and then I take a shower every morning, and then I just recently started doing this, but the last like 30 seconds of my shower, I turn it to ice cold, and like really wake myself up. And I'll tell you what, it's the most horrible thing ever, but I hear it's really healthy. So I'm like, it won't hurt to do it. Tell you what,
if you ever have a heart attack in the shower, I don't know what happened. The audience of this podcast will know exactly what happened, and then they'll know, okay, we're not going to do that.
Well, I've just heard that there's a lot of benefits, health benefits.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Cold. Yeah, so I know that it's not bad for me to have cold water on me, so I'm like, might as well try it. But then other than that, then I go to work and start my day pretty much. But I'll kiss my wife and kids goodbye in the morning, and then start my day. So very simple morning, but I try and start it the same way every day.
Consistency.
Sometimes I mix it up, and I actually even eat breakfast if I feel like wild. Yeah, but normally I just go and then I work really hard until lunch, and then relax on lunch, and then work really hard until the end of the day, and then go home and not think about work until the next day.
Oh man.
That's my thing. I try and leave everything at work.
So what would you say now that I know that you know your morning routine? Tell me about your nightly routine. Do you have one, or is it scattered because of kids or?
So yeah, it definitely gets scattered, but I would say that there's normally at least like a half an hour to an hour of wind down time that we have all together. Unless it's baseball season, which right now it is.
Oh
We
wow.
normally have no screen time, but we'll kind of always have the Padre game on, at least in the background.
Yeah.
Um, we're big Padre fans here, and then
Yeah. I'm
the
sorry to
boys are
hear that.
playing baseball. Oh, thank you. uh, um, but we really so I guess we have dinner as a family pretty much every single night.
That is
Um,
amazing.
yeah, we try not to eat out, but we eat out, I would say, at least once, maybe twice a week. We try
Same with
not to
us.
do
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah.
I'm the cook, so I cook pretty much every night, and
Oh
then
wow.
we sit down as a family, and then the boys normally, if it's after practice, it's normally after practice, and we wind down, make sure that they've done their homework, and sit down. Sometimes we play a card game or a board game, something really quick, and then I put them to bed at 8 o'clock and read them a story every night. Right now we're reading The Outsiders, which I
Oh
realize is
nice.
a yeah, but I realize they're a little bit too young for
I
it.
think they're too young too. I think I read that in high school, and I think I have that book right in my drawer actually. And then I
Oh,
got
that's too
tired
funny.
of reading. So,
Well,
uh,
my parents exposed me to that movie when I was my oldest age, and I fell in love with that movie. And then
yeah.
when I was in high school, I didn't even know that it was a book, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I read it. So to this day, it's the only book that I've ever really fully comprehended.
Right,
I
right,
have
right.
horrible reading comprehension. I can read pretty
Oh
well,
man,
but can't ever store what's going on.
I fall asleep right after 10 minutes. So I hear you. Yeah, this brings me actually to my final question. And by the way, you are awesome. I love family men. I love them because it is the family is the most basic unit of American society. And it is essential. And I feel like sometimes, society doesn't want families to be together. It's all, just everyone's everywhere, doing other things, and divorce is so high and blah, blah, blah. I'm just really impressed with your determination to be a family man. So thank you for sharing that. Maybe people on this the audience will be inspired by you to become more family oriented, and I want to thank you for that.
Well, family's everything. You have yourself, and then you have your family.
Yeah, yeah, I hear
That's
you.
pretty much what you got. And
Hmm.
yeah, so that's family. Family's huge. I'm pretty close with almost all my family. So um,
Fantastic.
yeah.
So, what advice can you give to our audience to inspire them to power through their struggles and keep fighting for what they want?
I think that what you need to do is just um, make one thing you can do is you can make a give yourself a goal, one that's is in sight, and then give yourself a bunch of small goals that'll lead you towards that. Like if you want to edit videos, start editing videos and then like kind of getting out there. Or if you want to be a photographer, or if you want to start your own company, start doing stuff like that. Or just do something productive in a sense every day. Something, even if it's as minimal as it is, even if you took your laundry out and folded it, that right there is even though it's very minimal, it's still a success right there that you're getting something done, knocked off the list. That's one thing. Another thing is like um, make sure that you find time to follow your dreams. Don't get stuck and complacent. Like you're always growing. You always have to grow, no matter even when you have reached that goal. That's when it's time to start another goal to keep on going. So like you just always keep on striving to do just a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, or be a better, a little bit better of a person, or a little bit better of a friend. Like every now and then, like you call me and call me and call me. And then sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm the worst person ever. I never call. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure. I'm like, I'm the next one to call before he calls. And
Yeah.
then I'll be like the next one or two calls, and I'll be like, yes, okay, I've restored my friendship, and I enjoy phone calls too all the time, even though they're random.
Yeah. Well, I love talking to you all the time. I love calling you. I love seeing you. I got to come visit sometime soon. Well, again, I want to thank you for coming on today. I know I consider you a very, very successful man. I hope that you realize that you are a successful man in your own eyes, because I can definitely see it in your family. You're rich with love, and you're consistent. The consistency, I always talk about consistency being so important in life. What I'd like to do today is end with a quote from Tony Robbins. It says, "I believe life is constantly testing us for our level of commitment, and life's greatest rewards are reserved for those who demonstrate a never-ending commitment to act until they achieve. This level of resolve can move mountains, but it must be constant and consistent." There it is with the consistency again.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That was deep.
It was fantastic.
Before we go, I do want to say that I didn't know that I knew who that guy was, but as soon as he said from Shallow Hal, I'm like, oh yeah, the motivation.
Yeah, it's the guy from Shallow Hal, exactly.
Yeah,
He's my favorite guy on Shallow Hal. I like him better than Jack Black.
He was awesome in it, and I do agree 100% with what he says. It's a decision.
Yeah,
it's a really great and simple way to put it, and that's a really easy way. And that was a great quote that you chose from him too.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bubba. Again, thank you so much for coming on. The way I end my podcast is that is our show. Again, my name is Joe Soja, joined by Bubba Tony Barragan today. Come back to find out how other people who I don't know who our next guest is going to be. Although I do know, actually, my boss, who's a very successful man in my eyes, he will be coming on. His name is Andy Wheaton. We'll have him on at some point. I don't know if he's going to be the next one, but he's going to be one of them. So come back to find out how he became so successful. Until then, this is Joe Soja signing off to remind you that anyone, absolutely anyone, has the capacity to turn their life around and live a happy, successful life. Have a great day.
What is it I'm looking for? What is it